Yo, we've put together a rundown of the slickest cons pulled on Pawn Stars, so let's dive right in. Heard you got some Willy Wonka gear, like legit props from the old school movie. What's the deal? You a big fan? Rick Harrison, the boss man at the Pawn Stars shop, was hyped to score some Willy Wonka treasures, specifically stuff from the original flick. When he met the seller, they rolled out a set of 5 items from the 1971 film, slapping a massive $725,000 price tag on it. The haul had Gene Wilder's actual Willy Wonka hat, a hefty golden egg, a real-deal golden ticket used on set, and some Wonka bars from the shoot. Check this out. Golden egg, golden ticket, the real McCoy. And those Wonka bars, they were on the set, right? Yup. The everlasting gobstopper stole the show for Rick, hitting him right in the childhood feels, reminding him why he loved the movie so much. He got all jazzed up, talking about how crucial it was to the plot. The seller dropped that these pieces came straight from Julie Dawn Cole, who played Veruca Salt, boosting their cred and value big time. It's like snagging the Hope Diamond. Man, the ultimate prize. When I was 7, that gobstopper was burned in my brain. Rick zeroed in on the gobstopper, calling it the crown jewel of the bunch. It was priced at a cool $100,000, but he talked it down to $15,000, locking in the iconic prop. He was over the moon, saying it felt like the holy grail of movie collectibles, making him feel like a kid again. $105,000 with a Wonka bar thrown in. Man, I'll miss that gobstopper. Deal's done. I'm 7 again. But Rick got played hard. He thought he scored the real gobstopper, but it turned out to be a cheap knockoff candy prop worth peanuts. The seller milked Rick's excitement and skipped proper checks, leaving him with a fat financial hit. This is the Mouse House, all 1930s stuff. Hands down the dopest collection I've ever laid eyes on, all pre-Disneyland. Rick stumbled on a killer stash of 1930s Disney Store displays, totally geeking out over the Mouse House, calling it one of the sickest collections ever. The seller explained these were pre-Disneyland, made from delicate materials, super rare now. Among the gems was an old King Cole display with a pre-Donald Duck figure that moved, blowing Rick's mind. They also showed off Walt Disney's original business card from Hyperion Studio in Hollywood, rocking Mickey, Donald, and another Mickey. Old King Cole display, pre-Donald, but the real magic is it moves. A hardcore Disney nerd, Rick was itching to grab these displays and started haggling. The seller wanted $15,000 just for the Donald Duck piece, offering both displays for $25,000. After some back and forth, Rick nabbed them for $30,000. If I take it all, 35 grand. Rick, can we split the difference? That's 32,500, yeah? Deal. He was stoked, pumped to show them off in his shop. But tons of fans thought Rick got taken for a ride, saying he made a dumb buy. They figured he was too trusting, not clocking the seller's game, who used Rick's shop appearance to hype their own business, getting free publicity to flaunt pricey collectibles, making folks think Rick shelled out way more than the stuff was worth. Got an autographed Macho Man Randy Savage outfit. Oh yeah, brother, that's Hulk Hogan's line. Nah, Macho Man's just oh yeah. I'm selling my Macho Man gear for $7,500. A guy rolled in to sell an autographed Macho Man Randy Savage outfit. Pants, hat, shirt. Corey Harrison, a huge wrestling fan, took the lead. The seller said he was Randy Savage's wedding photographer, tight with him and his wife. After Randy passed, the wife let him pick something from the closet, and he grabbed this Macho Man fit. I shot his wedding. He passed a year and 10 days later, super close with them, and she said, "Go to the costume room. Take what you want." The shop's pro, Steve Grad, checked the autograph and gave it the green light, hyping its value, especially if tied to a specific Randy Savage moment. He pegged it at $9,000 to $10,000 with extra history. Low end, $7,000. But if you link it to an event or something he wore in the ring, could hit 9 or 10 grand. Seller started at $6,000, but settled for $5,000 after Corey countered with $5,000, though the seller pushed for $6,000 at first. It was Corey's biggest wrestling memorabilia splurge. It's worth $7,000 as is, per your expert. $6,000's my spot. I'll do 5. 5 it is. Done. But the shop couldn't move the outfit, despite its legit history. Even the expert questioned the steep price for what seemed like a Halloween costume. Things got heavy when Randy Savage fans called selling it disrespectful to his legacy, like betraying a wrestling icon. The seller's choice to ditch a gift from Randy's wife stirred up more heat. Got a book that was Isaac Newton's, printed in 1546. That's dope. A dude showed up with a book he claimed was Newton's. Richard Harrison, the old man, and Chumlee were there, with the old man handling it. The seller said he found it in his dad's stuff, thinking it could be worth thousands if it was really Newton's. Here's Newton's bookplate, showing the case spot in Barnsley Park in England, where it was kept. The old man was intrigued, but called an expert to verify. The expert ID'd it as a 1546 George Agricola publication, the father of mineralogy. Newton was into alchemy back then. Problem was, the book had been restored and rebound, probably in the 1700s, but it had Newton's bookplate and shelf number, tying it to him. Book's been fixed up, rebound. Plates from Newton's library. Newton owned this. Expert valued it at $20,000 for its historical weight. Seller wanted $15,000. Old man offered $5,000. They settled at $7,000. Can you do 7? I'll meet you at 6. Gotta have 7. If I give you 7, I'm eating here tonight. 7, and I'll buy you dinner. Deal. Expert said it could hit $20,000, but the old man played it, saying $5,000 was his max. Seller knew the value but took the deal without pushing, underselling a rare gem. Old man scored it cheap, pulling off a slick scam. 1890s Hotchkiss cannon, used in the Indian Wars. Snagged it at an East Coast auction 10 years back, now passing it on. Rick found an 1890s Hotchkiss cannon, supposedly used in the Indian Wars, and thought it was an epic historical piece. The owner had it front and center in his living room for guests to see. Rick got an expert to check its authenticity and value. The worn look and rust screamed legit. Expert confirmed it as the first modern self-contained cartridge gun in U.S. inventory. Patina and rust say it's the real deal. Valued at $40,000, Rick aimed for $30,000. Owner suggested a firing test. Rick agreed, shot it, thought it worked fine, and bought it for $30,000, adding it to his stash. If it fires, 30 grand. Let's set it up and blast that plant over there. Later, they found out the owner rigged the cannon to seem functional for the test. It was actually busted. Got a letter signed by Napoleon himself. A guy walked in with what he called a Napoleon-signed letter. I'll give you $2,000, best I can do. Corey checked it closely, thought it was legit, and offered $2,000. Didn't pay that much, so let's do it. Seller took the $2,000, ready to close. Supposed to be Napoleon's original. Corey should have checked first, now he's doing it. Expert needed to confirm if the letter and signature were real or a scam. Napoleon dictated battlefield stuff to secretaries, so original field copies are priceless. Expert explained Napoleon's dictation habits. If it's an original copy, it's gold. This ain't one. It's got no historical juice. Expert deemed it a fake, not an original manuscript. COA fooled me. It's bunk. Corey, take it home. Remind yourself not to be so dumb. Corey got burned bad. No fixing it, and the old man agrees. Got my uncle's comic book stash, handed down to me. Sweet. A blonde lady hit the shop with her late uncle's comic collection. Chumlee, at the counter, got hyped checking it out. Let me grab someone who knows their stuff. Man, I don't need Paul, it's comics. Chum dug in, ignoring Antoine's advice to call a comic expert before sealing the deal. What's your price? Want $2,000. She asked for $2,000. I'll do $50 a box. No deal without Paul. Chum offered $50 per box, $350 total. She wouldn't go below $500. Antoine pushed for an expert, but Chum rolled the dice at $500. First Taskmaster, first Nova, Red Hulk, good stuff. Rick found out, called an expert. Stack I pulled is maybe 200 retail. Rest is 5 cents a book, lucky. Just common junk. Expert said 18 books were worth $200. Rest barely 5 cents each. Collections near worthless. You dropped 500 on comics, I'd be lucky to get 184, plus 7 boxes of scrap paper. Chum got played, and Rick ain't thrilled. Got a youth vest, think it's from 1890. Selling it? Yup. Shop's on the verge of another con with a guy bringing an Indian vest, hoping for a big payout. Want $1,800. That's steep for a kid's vest. Corey thought $1,800 was wild for a baby vest. Rick offered $1,200. Seller pushed back. Meet at $1,300? That's my max, cool, I'm in. Deal closed at $1,300. Northern Plains beadwork, but not from that era. Expert called in. It's not what it seems. Not fake, but made for tourists, not use. Expert said it's Indian made, but for sale, not function. Real native vest. Mark, that vest you bought is legit. Nope. Corey razzied Rick for getting burned. Rare for him. Digging the video? Hit like and subscribe if you haven't. Back to it. Gibson mandolin. Seller brought a Gibson mandolin to Chumlee, aiming for a solid price. Yo, Rick, Corey, check this out. Chum tried getting a Harrison to scope it. Make sure it's not fake, but no one's around. 1930s Gibsons are fire. Chum checked it solo, missing the memo to consult someone. Craftsmanship's top-notch, looks real. My limit's $1,000. Seller wanted $3,000. Chum thought $1,000 was fair. I'll do $1,400 tops. $1,500 seals it. Sounds good, I'll profit. Settled at $1,500. Chum hit up Jesse at Cowtown Guitars. Logos cut weird, not Gibson style. Finish is plastic, not lacquer, total fake. Jesse said it's worth maybe $100. Chum lost $1,400. Ouch. Mandolin suck now. Signed by Shoeless Joe Jackson, rarest sports sig out there. Guy came in with a book supposedly signed by baseball legend Joseph Jefferson Jackson. Want 30 grand. I'll do 13, max cool. Seller asked $30,000. Rick offered $13,000. Deal done. Signature looks legit. Wildest thing you've brought. One of the only Joe Jackson sigs everyone agrees on. This A's off. K-Loop's wrong. Not convinced it's real. Expert checked. Found issues. Erased E and Joe's name. Overwritten. Not certifiable. Rick tried for consensus, but got burned again. Ever wonder what happens when sellers bring stuff to pawn shops, thinking it's gold, only to find it's fake? Check our video, Pawn Stars. Times customers flipped out for their reactions. Hit the link.